What's up, everybody? Alex here. And I've been an Insta360 fan for many years, ever since 2017, when I got my hands on this guy, which is the Insta360 Air, which is basically a little 360 camera that you can plug into the bottom of your phone and take pictures and videos that way. I thought it was super cool, and I've been hooked ever since. I've had all of the X series cameras, starting with the 1X all the way up to the most recent, which is the X5. And I've been more than satisfied with it. I think it performs really well. The low light is pretty impressive. That's one of the major selling points of this new camera, with the 3 AI chips and the bigger sensor and all that kind of stuff. And I think it lives up to the hype. It really performs well for being such a small camera. I'm also a diver and have been for about 24 years. So when I found out about the invisible dive case for the X5, I was particularly excited. And a couple weeks ago, I got to go on a trip to Barbados, in which I got to go diving twice while I was there. And today I want to share some of the footage that I got from that first dive and let you know some of my thoughts on it. The first dive was called Bright Ledge. It was a nice open reef off the northwest coast of the island. Beautiful coral. Saw a nice turtle or two. It was really, really enjoyable. And so I'm going to share some of the footage with you and let you know some of my thoughts. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so what did you guys think of that footage? Overall, I was pretty impressed. I thought that the X5 in the invisible dive case performed really pretty well. I do have a couple little gripes, nothing major, but a couple things I noticed when reviewing the footage is that usually when you're in direct sunlight, depending on how you angle your view, there's a little bit of the reflection around the stitch line at the top of the case right here. But given that it's a 360 camera and you can pivot that point of view in whichever direction you want, I was usually able to kind of steer that line of view away from that so it wasn't so distracting. Related to the stitch line, the other thing I noticed, which is kind of the case with 360 cameras in general, is that if you get a little too close to something, so if I was really close to a piece of coral or a rock or something like that, you're going to see that stitch line. And that's just kind of the case with 360 cameras. So some of my tips for avoiding some of these things is with regards to filming things up close. If there's a specific fish or an eel or something that you want to get close to, make sure that the camera is turned so that only one lens is pointed at that instead of a stitch line. And then you'll be able to avoid that stitch line from kind of cutting through whatever it is you're trying to capture on camera. With regard to that reflection that you get sometimes when you're cruising along, even if the camera's far away from you, try to avoid twisting it as much as possible. I noticed in the clips where it was kind of twisting back and forth that it was particularly distracting and visible. So try to keep it horizontal, kind of even with the horizon. And you can still see it, but it's not as noticeable as when you're twisting it and it's moving all back and forth. So those are my major tips with it. But overall, I was super, super pleased with it. The footage isn't quite as crisp and sharp as maybe some dedicated action, like single lens cameras, like your GoPro, your Insta360 Ace Pro, stuff like that. But you get the flexibility with the 360 camera to basically capture everything all around you. You never have to worry about missing a shot. The stick disappears, which I think is such an awesome thing. So overall, I wasn't disappointed. I was really pretty pleased with it. And I think some of the footage I got was pretty awesome. But those are my thoughts. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Go ahead and just let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.